Your story isn't just your story. There are a lot of people going through the same things that you are, and nobody's listening to them. It's because you're not working together. See, that's the biggest problem with people like Laura Nelson and Amanda DeMett and many other parents of autistic children that I helped hooked up with one another so that they could actually work together. I got tired of hearing both of those women complain that nobody ever does anything, that they're jumping through the system and they're being screwed while trying to jump through all these hoops. I want you to think about it like this. As bad as I feel for those mothers, imagine what it's like for them autistic kids that don't have parents that give a shit. We gotta hope that other people's cases will be won. We gotta hope that an autistic child, autistic adult, with family who cares, who is jumping through all these hoops, we have to root for them with all that we've got. Because those are our only chances as people without families to get something done. And we're gonna explain to you how this leads into sexism and how you can destroy sexism. One good point to be made, when there was a training manual that came out for DHS on how to interact with somebody who's autistic, right? And this didn't just go out for them, it's for mandated reporters in several states, not just with the DHS. And, several people made the comment of, if we just treated everybody like they're autistic, we'd never have a problem. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Or rather, if you treated people like you should treat someone who's autistic, and when you read through it, it's all common sense on how not to be a dickhead to another human being. That's basically what the manual is about. It teaches you what not to say. You don't say those things because they're dismissive. That's why you're not supposed to say them. And although there are many things that you are socially taught to say, these are not what you're supposed to say. It explains to you that saying you're sorry, it explains a couple of different things about it. One of them is that people who say they're sorry a lot generally have PTSD. They generally have anxiety. They are used to it being their fault, them being made out to believe that it's their fault, and made out and treated like it's their fault. Victims make excuses for their predators. They make excuses for the wrongdoing of others. Why do they do this? Because of their predators pushing that on them over and over again, and then, of course, the people that we're taught that we're supposed to go to for help doing the same thing. While my predators tried to intimidate me into leaving no matter where I was, including Chapel, Nebraska. And in Chapel, Nebraska, I've got Marcia Estrada. They're telling me that I gotta keep my housing. It's all I got. It's all I got. And I'm telling them it's unsafe there, but they're not helping me to turn it in. I'm telling them about the crimes that are committed against me, and they just keep on happening. They're not helping me to turn it in. And they tell me I should just move elsewhere. Now, by the point that these ladies got involved, I'd already repeatedly had to move over and over again because their predecessors in those same jobs didn't do them, just like these people weren't doing them. Their solution, rather than doing what they're supposed to do, mind you, the reason I've been sent to all these places is because they're all supposed to be mandated orders. They're supposed to know how to do their job. They're not supposed to threaten, harass, or intimidate or misuse their position of power to take tax dollars for something they're not doing. They're not supposed to manipulate their client through lies, things that they know to be lies, because they just don't want to do it. They just don't want to do the job. They don't want the mess that comes along with being a mandated reporter when you actually report something. And all these places, accusations of abuse are good enough. There's also the fact that it's showing the evidence that I have a problem with. I have the evidence. It's a matter of these people looking at it and verifying it. It's a matter of them actually showing up when they're supposed to. According to Marcia Estrada, Penny Cooper was supposed to show up and help me with my court paperwork and with multiple court dates and in trying to turn in my predators, but Penny Cooper didn't do any of those things. And because there was no friend or family member, that's what the paperwork that I have says. Because there was no friend or family member who cared. They have no consequences. Nobody else cares. I try to inform the general public, but nobody cares. I don't have the right gender to have a voice. Now we're going to get into rape culture here in America and how it really is. I'm going to be telling some stories here that if your sensitive ears can't handle it, if you want to hide under a rock in a bubble with men and maidservants to shelter you from the world, I recommend getting away from my channel right now. I recommend getting off of this video right now because I'm not going to say pretty things. Many of the people who I got rid of for being sexist, most of them, matter of fact, were women. The ones who helped to perpetuate rape society in America. The ones who helped rapists and pedophiles to get away. I fought for so long, so hard for other people's rights. The whole time with no rights of my own. You know, then we have sexism being taught. Sexism in favor of women being taught to both men and women in this country, starting at birth. And we don't just start off with teaching them differently. We also start off with genitally mutilating our boys. Doctors do this for her pleasure and apparently for health reasons. Well, I do know men who are uncircumcised. They don't have any of these issues that you can potentially get and have never had those issues because they're not filthy. It's another part of your body. If you want to teach a boy that it's shameful for him to touch that part of his body, that it's shameful and sinful and he's going to hell if he touches that part of his body and he washes everything else, but he doesn't wash that because he's afraid he's going to get in trouble. You tell him if he has even a momentary thought of doing something that's natural, it's called breeding, it's called reproduction. You don't have to be married to reproduce. Dogs don't get married, squirrels don't get married, birds don't get married. What are you thinking? Besides that, Government want to take money from you for getting married, but not much. They want to take a whole lot of money for want a divorce. And then there's all the people that get involved. And then, of course, there's false accusations and destroying another person's reputation. A woman's got the higher power in that, and we all know it. Everybody in America has been taught that women have the higher power in that. A woman at any point in time can tell a lie and destroy a man's entire life, destroy his reputation, and in many cases result in those men being assaulted or murdered. My situation is quite unique. Because see, the people that I am being treated like I'm a rapist or a child molester or a murderer over never made any of those accusations. Instead, they made inferences as if I might. Now, I don't know how the rest of y'all feel about this, but we live in the United States of America where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Not treated like you're guilty and have everything in your life taken away from you. See, Natalie Bollinger wanted to pretend like because she got busted with heroin on my birthday, when I was visiting her at her request, where her and her sister wanted to take me for my birthday, and I had issues with a phone that I didn't even want. Alicia was insistent that I take that for my birthday. Just like Natalie Bollinger was insistent that we go out for my birthday. Insistent that I get a cake. Insistent that she get me a gift. Insistent. Now, when she was insistent that we go out for my birthday to somewhere that I didn't know existed, is this a place that she knew existed and her sister knew existed? Yes. They took me to that place because it was special to them. They took me to the pagoda in Norfolk because it was special to them. Natalie let me know about her family. And I get treated like I'm a horrible person for showing the fact that what you've been sold is a lie. My predators try to have everything taken down that shows that I told the truth. My predators in law enforcement have done everything that they can to prevent their felonies or my evidence from showing up in any court date. All of these people are taking American taxpayer dollars. Taxpayer dollars that you and I both worked hard for. That's right, folks. Well, you want to pretend like I would never work, never had a job a day in my life. You know what kept my head straight through all of the abuse that I endured before I hurt my back? Manual labor. Going over to Jeff Baldridge's and making cement hinge in his backyard. Or helping to dig a hole. Or going over to Brenda Dickinson's for any number of a myriad of choices of things that she needs worked on and won't do herself. Now that she's older, with rheumatoid arthritis, she can't. You know, whenever Brenda Dickinson needed me, without fail, if she asked for my help, she got it every single time. She worked through Sandhills Crisis Intervention Program. She taught youth classes on abuse, and we had children's group over at her house, and she also sold us weed. Super nice lady, though. So she was well aware of what a mandated reporter's job is to do. She was also well aware that she was a mandated reporter. She was also well aware that she hadn't been a mandated reporter, hadn't done her job as a mandated reporter. She was also aware that because she had sold us pot, that was a skeleton might come out in court. Well, now it's out in the media. It's out on YouTube. It's out on Facebook. Here in America, we have it shoved at us. We have sex shoved at us as advertising. Right? All day, every day, nonstop. That's our advertising. American advertising is primarily sex, but then we look at foreign countries. Their commercials are quite a bit about sex too, aren't they? But here in America, we like to sell false narratives and reword what people said to mean something else to fit our narrative. If we do something wrong, right? Not all of us. Somebody who's autistic has problems with lying. They don't want to lie. They're not interested in lying. Everybody around them lies, and we see how fucked up it makes everything. But then again, you don't listen to someone who tells you the truth. You refuse to listen to them. You want to believe those lies. Between your neighbor next door getting raped by her dad and the Kardashians' argument over a dog or a purse, you care about the Kardashians' dog or the Kardashians' purse. Here in America, we still teach women to mooch off of men, but also to say something else. We have taught women to this, taught them to do this. We are teaching sexism in America. We are teaching boys and girls, first of all, that abuse is love, and also that abusers, we should just let them get away. We have taught all of America, both boys and girls, a lot of wrong things because we say one thing and we show another. Now, then, of course, everything is men's fault. We're not allowed to defend ourselves against your accusations. Which men? Let me tell you something about rape culture. It wasn't a man who tried to shove Carrotzilla up my asshole. That was Nicole Jarrell of Nederland, Colorado, in her parents' kitchen. She had perfect aim. Now, let me explain to you something, all right? She's got horses, all right? We're not talking about a baby carrot. Now, she had repeatedly before this told me about her fantasy to do this to a man, and I was not okay with that. And I told her, no, I'm not okay with that. She said, oh, I'm just kidding. But no, she wasn't. This is her ultimate fantasy. Now, mind you, we're not talking about carrots that you get at the grocery store, okay? We're talking about Carrotzilla. We are talking about a massive carrot. And she came up behind me while I was washing my hands. Have you ever felt your jeans rip into your butthole? I'm asking you this as a serious question. Is that a pleasant experience? Now, I want to explain to you that your intestines are softer than a carrot. And a carrot comes to a point. If she had stabbed me just a little bit harder, she could have ruptured my colon. What would that have done? Well, that's fecal matter that's in your butthole. This is something that she did without my permission, knowing I was not okay with it. And she thought it was funny. And there are other people who know about this sick fetish that this therapist went to school at Naropa University to be a therapist. One of the therapists that I had to go to try to get help when I was being abused by people like Natalie Bollinger, Alicia Bollinger, Maddie Boa, and their messed out customers, their boyfriends, their Facebook friends, making fake accounts to harass me and threaten me. But it doesn't matter how much evidence I have of that. None of y'all want to look. And then there's, of course, the Michelle Brannick post. Oh, this one's famous, isn't it? You know, while people were threatening me, threatening to kill me, threatening to kill my family. And some of them, absolutely, I can show evidence of what they did. There's also other ones, like in real life, do you always have your camera out right at the very moment something happens? No, that's why I should record 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But even when there are crimes committed that are recorded, nobody does a thing. They let it go. If it's happening to a mentally ill homeless woman like Jamie, is it the fact that she's a woman that allowed that predator to get away? No, our bias in America says that every man that was there was supposed to get up and do something. What we're taught here in America is that we're supposed to get physically violent with that man so that he never, ever attempts to do that ever again. Well, I'm a nonviolent person. What did I do? I diffused the situation. I drew his attention to me so he wouldn't hit her again. I did so immediately. And no, I can't defend myself against that man. And yes, he is twice my size. And you know what? In the first 5 minutes of that video, he literally admits to murder. Do I believe his story? No. No, I don't. I just saw him punch a woman in the back of the head after shoving her and pursuing her, and then telling me he threw a burrito at her. No, I watched it, dude. Is he going to play down that part? Yes, he is. Is Caitlin Tatum going to play down her part? Is Danny Francis going to play down her part? We already know that when people screw up, they want to play down their part. We've also taught specifically cops and women and hospital workers. They can do whatever they want. They have positions of power. That's right. A woman, just because she has a vagina, gets a special position of power within American society, whether she admits to it or not. Now let's look at the Facebook. You guys get to see Facebook, right? You get to see those pictures of Jason Momoa posted up by hundreds of women. You know, you get a post in your timeline and you're like, man, this is like the 8th post today that has popped up from this lady about Jason Momoa. Of course, there's also the 11 posts that she also made today about how men are misogynistic and about how they only care about one thing. And then there's the 7 posts where you are literally complaining because you're lonely and you're horny and... There's a guy who was doing that on my channel too. Called himself Doug Thunder. Lives right across the border in Washington State. Right across from Hood River, apparently. That's a problem child there. We stop sexism by treating girls equally to boys and boys equally to girls, and by teaching them both that no means no. It is not okay for a girl to retaliate against a boy just because he said no. Just because he would not have sex with her when she was drunk, it does not make it okay to destroy his life. Now, I've had women who have made my life hell because I didn't have sex with them. Jamie Curtis did that. Lana Engeline did that. Not cool. Not cool. Now, did Natalie Bollinger feel as if I rejected her for sex? I don't know. As far as I know, all she ever tried was cuddle with me. That was in the back seat of her sister's vehicle when we were in Virginia Beach is where they took us. That's when those two drunk guys were with us. When they were apologizing for those two drunk guys. That was the night that Natalie held my hand. And she wanted to cuddle on the ride. She put her head on my shoulder. I wasn't mean to her about it. I didn't recoil or try to make her feel like she was a horrible person. It's something that she chose to do, she wanted to do, and it was a sense of comfort for her, and she said that. By that point, she already knew that I wasn't interested in sex. She'd already been explained that I wasn't interested in sex. I'd already told her a little bit about the situation with Jamie. You know, Jamie was my best friend. She wanted sex, though. I lost my best friend because I wasn't having sex with her. Very screwed up situation. What I was worried about in Virginia was Natalie killing herself. Now you guys go, oh, well, you went overboard and thought that you were being a friend by doing this and by doing that. I was being a friend by doing what I was asked to do, stupid. That's the thing. I don't deny that I went to Virginia, but I didn't go to Virginia to stalk anybody. I went to Virginia because Natalie was going to fucking kill herself if I didn't. She let me know that loud and fucking clear in a phone call. And no, I didn't think to myself, hey, I'm going to record every phone call with all of my friends. I didn't have the means or ability to do so at the time anyway. What I knew is that Natalie Bollinger called me, and she was fucking suicidal. And you guys want me to have her locked up for that. That's what your idea is. No, that makes it worse. That lets her know that I'm not going to listen to her. That is a betrayal of her trust. She wasn't suicidal for no reason, folks. She wasn't magically just suicidal because Sean Schwartz is saying no. I'm going through all of my stuff, and I'm trying to find something that can even be grossly misinterpreted to mean that I'm trying to have sex with her. And no, it's very blatantly clear that's not what I'm interested in. When she's telling me she's still infatuated with me, keeps telling me, hey, I used to think I was in love with you, and sometimes I think I still do. Oh my God, please no. I just didn't want her to fucking kill herself. I cared about her very much. She came into my life literally when I was on my way to the bathroom in Starbucks in Boulder, Colorado, where Caitlin Tatum worked, where I met Danny Francis, where Natalie that day came into my life and stopped me from killing myself. She was an adult. She told me that I was the reason that she didn't kill herself 100 times. And no, I didn't tell her that I was going to kill myself. I didn't tell her that I got 37 Vicodin from DJ Wow and I was going to go in there and swallow them all. I was going to swallow them all in the bathroom because, you know, you go swallowing a bunch of pills in public, they're going to stop you. When somebody comes to you because they're suicidal, they're not coming to you for help killing themselves. They're coming to you for a reason not to. There is something so incredibly wrong in their lives. Before Natalie went to Virginia, that's when we were extremely close. Extremely close. She told me a lot of her personal business. Told me a lot of the things that people had done to her. When I was in Virginia, I was going through hell of my own. The last thing that I needed was somebody pressuring me to go to fucking Virginia. But you know, when I needed somebody to be more than just words, when I'd been harassed by the border police for months, I'd had my backpack on my back. I couldn't walk more than a block. Who was it that actually showed up and helped me take my stuff out to storage? That was Natalie Bollinger. When everybody else was just words, there was Natalie Bollinger. When everybody else was, you just need to love yourself, you just need to get a job. I was fucking injured. Like, you chose this. No, I didn't. I never chose victimization. I never chose for you to make excuses for every single person on the streets to be victimized, to be raped, to be murdered. While you say it is wrong to do these things, you say loud and proud that if you do it to a homeless person, the homeless person deserves it because they're not a person. The laws do not apply. But in all these instances, we're also having it shoved upon us that it's only men who are the perpetrators. We are slapping women on the wrist. Women who are getting pregnant. These are teachers getting pregnant by 13 and 14-year-old boys, serving 8 months. When they get out, are they treated the same way as a man who went to prison for that? No. How about a man who never did that, who's treated that way over somebody it never happened to? Maddie Boa knew that I never had sex with Natalie. Alicia Bollinger knew I never had sex with Natalie. They both knew I wasn't trying to have sex with them either. But what did they try to play? They tried to play on your bias. Just an accusation is good enough. All they had to say in Virginia to destroy my entire life was to claim that I stalked them. All over things that are in part their fault. Yeah, you can blame it all on me. You can say, oh, Sean, you didn't have to take that phone. You know what? I didn't want the phone. I told Alicia Bollinger over and over again that my phone worked fine. I didn't even know the smartphone was broken at that point in time. I didn't know that until she had actually changed it all over. This is something that she wanted to give, and I was remembering Jeff Baldridge's words at that time. Jeff said, you know that feeling that you get when you do something good for somebody else? And I said, yeah. He said, why would you want to deny that feeling to anybody else? And Alicia was absolutely certain that because I kept getting lost on the roads there, that I needed MapQuest. Well, she definitely convinced me. It took a really long time, and it was when she handed me the phone and it was all shattered to shit. It was an HTC phone with a light blue border, this color of blue. Maybe just a little bit darker, but not much. That was the border on the HTC phone that Alicia Bollinger insisted that I take as my birthday present from her. It's a birthday present. All of the issues that I had with that phone. Where did that phone come from? Where did that phone come from? Whose phone number did Alicia Bollinger change it over to? Who worked at the cricket store that I stayed behind for 2 weeks? And why did I stay behind it? Here's how it worked out. Alicia Bollinger wants to give me this wonderful gift. This phone is busted to shit. So she works at cricket. And her boyfriend works at Starbucks 2 doors down. This is one of the things that she was telling me to try to get me to convince me to go stay there. Alicia Bollinger's idea. Alicia Bollinger, she's still alive and anyone can ask her. She is still alive. Any one of these people who want to threaten me and harass me and treat me like I'm a child molester or a rapist, ask Alicia. Ask Alicia if I ever did those things to her. Ask her if I ever had access to do those things to Miss Natalie the whole time I was in Virginia. Alicia insisted on getting it in her name and that she was going to pay the bill. Well, not after they played victim. No, she's not going to pay the bill after that. And that was my phone number. I'd had it over a year. I was pretty proud of the fact that I hadn't lost that phone in that year. But Alicia Bollinger, instead of me taking the money that I had to make sure that I could get the telephone, well, $35. If I can get that $35, I can get my phone hooked up so I can still use it. But she was insistent. She was insistent. Then they pretend that because that phone that was broken was having issues, that I'm some sort of a terrible monster, that I stalked them to Virginia, that I couldn't take no for an answer, apparently. But where's that wouldn't take no for an answer bullshit? See, when I was in Virginia, one of the things that really sent me over the edge there, after all of those issues, and my phone was so completely fucked up, and it was just a non-stop hellacious situation. I had no money. My back was way, way, way more injured from trying to work with them youngins at Labor Ready. I was thankful for Alicia's help getting that job. I was thankful to her. Yes, Alicia Bollinger helped me to get that job. Her and Natalie were both trying to get me a job with their mom, Rose M. Kelly. They wanted me to get a job where their mom worked. They were looking for an apartment for me to move into. They wanted me to stay. They had to literally be allowed a court date without me so they didn't have to answer any of those questions. Meanwhile, there are literally dozens of witnesses, dozens and dozens of witnesses that can testify and verify that I went to them for help with this before Natalie Bollinger was killed. Now, my next video is going to get real horrendous. We're going to go over the difference between laws and bias. We're also going to go over which one was used in court for me, which one was used by police, which ones were used by my predators as excuses. And literally all of them play on the mentally ill tag. Mentally ill makes it okay. You can abuse someone who's mentally ill all day. Now we're going to show how these tricks that are used, how they're more commonly used on males and why. We're also going to cover very specific predators in my life, including people who did not intend to be predators. They were too busy playing like they cared to actually care, however. I told stories about them that were true. Stories that did have to do with the Natalie Bollinger situation. And of course, I had to post them on my YouTube channel. I've got quite a few on here already, don't I? With people who knew that I was trying to get help before Natalie was killed. Why didn't I get that help? Because instead of helping me with the things that I said from the very start, over a year before Natalie was killed, to my friends and family and on Facebook. Now, this is elder abuse. The ones that they should have given me is abuse against an at-risk adult, or the developmental disability one. Because yes, autism is considered a developmental disability. That's because you guys are so abusive to us. We all end up with PTSD, every one of us. We're not allowed to be a part of your society, definitely and specifically not in the same way, no matter how much we try to be normal. And you don't care how exhausting it is. You know, I'd rather just be spunky and fun. Girls are allowed to do that here in America. So are women. For them, it's supposed to be considered a sign of flirtation. Oh, she's pretending to be crazy. It's called playing rabbit. You're supposed to play the wolf. She rolls and fawns that she's injured, and you're supposed to pounce. You guys are idiots. Now, this one is for elder abuse, but the rules and guidelines are very similar. It says, how can abuse be prevented? And the very first people that it addresses is supposed to be friends and family. That's because I'm supposed to have a friend or family member to help me with these things. I'm supposed to have a friend or family member go in with me. Without one, I'm supposed to have a guardian assigned by the state. I was victimized a lot before Natalie was killed over the situation with Natalie, but I want you to know that I've been victimized my entire life over the mentally ill tag. I know exactly what that means. It means you're not a person anymore. For Natalie Bollinger, it meant that her dad went to prison for beating on her, but he didn't get in any trouble for raping her. There's also the embarrassment for the or victim's remorse. We're sad and we're lonely, and this is our family, and we love them and we miss them, and we wish that they loved us too. Maybe if we love our family enough, they'll love us back. No, that doesn't work. You can't make someone love you. Now, looking back at our conversations and reading stuff with Natalie Bollinger, it's obvious she never let that go. Through all of that, she was. And see, I've had a few women read this. It'd be nice if I could read my part, and one of these women would read the female part, Natalie's part. It gets confusing when I gotta tell you what was written by me and which one was written by Natalie, and the video quality doesn't always come up right, and it's a big pain. You get to see that here in America, a man can literally go to prison over a woman's opinion, whereas a man literally has to murder himself in order to get help. He has to murder himself when somebody else lies about him in order to stop the abuse. There's also the fact that if a woman really, really, really wants to hurt you, and she wants to say those things, she won't take you to court. In court, you might actually win. But when those accusations are just made out and about to everybody, and this is what we teach girls to do from a very young age. If you do something wrong, play on the fact that you have a vagina. Say he did something naughty. Say he did something bad. You got busted lying? It's just a little white lie. No harm, no foul. Just fess up to it, no problem. Did I go to Natalie Bollinger about the abuse first? No, I went straight to the source. The first person I went to was Maddie Boa. I'll go, oh, you're just infatuated with Natalie and this, that, and the other. No. Maddie Boa was accusing me of raping or molesting a couple of little girls in Virginia. All right? I knew 2 grown women in Virginia. Actually, I knew at least 3. But that's the thing. I knew all 3 of those women before I went to Virginia. All 3 of those women knew I was coming. Our messages show it. Our messages show that it was planned out. The messages with me and Maddie Boa, the messages with me and Natalie Bollinger, the messages with me and Alicia Bollinger. But that's not what my predators did. No, people wanted to assume I was evil, so they went out, they picked and chose little bits and pieces to show you. Oh, look, there's this part that Natalie said, and we're using it out of context. And here's this part that Sean said, and we're using it out of context. But then again, you guys don't care. You don't care that it's propaganda. You also don't care about the fact that Facebook's algorithms and YouTube's algorithms are both highly sexist in favor of women. And we're going to get into that as well. How literally, if you change the word men to women, and a lot of these Facebook quotes and memes that are apparently funny, they're man bashing. That's what they are. And when you complain that they're sexist, well, it stays up. Everybody's fine with it. So you post something up and you change the word men to women, and now you're on a Facebook ban for 30 days. Now that we've got a little bit of a primer and you've gotten to hear a little bit of nastiness, hopefully if you get on for the next video, you're prepared for the fact that it's going to be a lot of nastiness, and it's going to be examples with people's names. My predators' names aren't men. My predators' names are not women. I am going to show you how men and women are taught to act differently in the United States, and as a result, how most of them do. There are very few people like me who are going to look it up for ourselves. The majority of you just going to take somebody else's word for it, even if they weren't there.